Hello and welcome back, artists and designers. Today we're going to talk about how to go to something like this or like this with our color wheel project. So although the color wheel looks good, honestly it feels a little project-y. So let's go ahead and see how we can get rid of all of those color effects pretty quickly and try some additional things. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my layers panel, and I could go into each one of these folders and start to hide every color adjustment layer, but that would be pretty time consuming. So there's a quick way to do it. I'm going to go up to the top of my layers panel where it says kind, and I'm going to choose name. So all of these are color. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the search here, color, and look what happens. It isolates all my layers down to just all of my color layers. And then it's really easy. I can basically click on the top eyeball and just kind of scrub down here and go like that, and it's going to hide all of those layers. Oops, it did grab one other thing because that did say full colors there. So let's go ahead and click on that. There we go. And now I see everything the way it is. So just right there, that looks pretty good. I kind of like how that looks without any of the other colors on it. So we can now, potentially save this, and this looks a little bit more sophisticated now that you've done the color step. Let's try one other thing on here and add a gradient map over top of this. So I'll go ahead and flip this button back off so I see everything again. And I'm going to go up to the top of my layer stack, and I'm going to add in one more adjustment layer. And this time I'm going to do what's called a gradient map. So that's towards the bottom. And it's going to add something in, and by default it usually puts in like a black and white one or whatever your foreground and background colors are set to. And what's kind of cool over here in your properties panel, you can see this is an adjustment layer. It can turn on and off. Right now this is going the opposite direction, so it looks really weird. And if I check reverse, that's going to look a little bit more normal, but that's just black and white. So if I click on this drop down, you're going to notice there are a whole bunch of different color palettes in here. I've got blues, I've got purples, I've got reds, pinks. So I can click on any one of these and kind of take a look at how that is affecting my project. So let's go back after if I pick this one, can I close this up? Hopefully, let's click back on this. There we go. Now I can see it right here, and it's applying that to the whole thing. Now this is set to be normal. What if I do the same thing and I change the layer mode, and I'm scrubbing through a couple of these to see what it looks like. If I do the color, that looks pretty good. Now it's getting a little crazy maybe in that background, so I'm not sure if I would want to keep this gradient. I might get rid of that and do something like that. And you can customize this gradient. You can explore all the different options that you have in here. And if you want to customize it, you can totally do that. I'm having trouble getting back to that once I have the pop-up, but if you want to actually customize this, I could click on this, and you can start to play around with the gradients or add other colors or stops in here. So if I go here and click and then double click, I could go in and start to change and manipulate that. Maybe I want that to go all the way dark. I can pull these sliders around and do some neat things on there. So I'm going to hit OK on that. So I now have this gradient map that rides right over top. I can turn that on and off. There was my original. After I got rid of the colors, I turn the gradient on. It does that effect to it. If I want to bring all of my colors back, I can hide this, go back up to my button where it says color. I want to bring them all back, no problem. Click on those, bring all those colors right back, and there we go. I can bring everything right back to visual. So experiment and see how it works. The first step is to go ahead and switch this to name, type in color there, and go ahead and turn all your color layers off. And then if you want to experiment with your gradient map adjustment layer, you can put that gradient map over top. And actually, I'm looking at it right now. Maybe you don't even need to turn all those colors off. That's just an option if you want to see what it looks like without the colors and with the original cutout colors. But if you do your gradient map, you can just set it to be a color layer, and it should work out pretty well for you. So there you go, a couple things to try after you're done with the basic color wheel to kind of explore some of the different options that you can get to get a more sophisticated overall final project. So go ahead, explore, and have some fun with that, and I'll see you in the next video.